Cards for these last-minute presents must have got mixed. Look at them, Tracy. Perhaps you can tell.
In a minute, Mother. I'm up to my neck in these thank you notes. This stinks.
Oh, don't say stinks, darling. If absolutely necessary, smells. But only if absolutely necessary. What is it?
I found it in Sandy's room. It's something that's going to be in a magazine. It certainly stinks all right.
Keep out of your brother's things, dear. 94 for the ceremony, 506 for the reception. I don't know where we'll put them all if it should rain.
It won't rain.
I wish your brother Junius could be here for the wedding. London is so far away.
I miss old Junius. You did a good job when you had him, Mother.
The first is always the best. They deteriorate as they go on.
Cousin Horace McComber, one artifact. That's awful. What did he send the other time? Oh, no one to speak of sent anything the other time. There was hardly an occasion to send anything the other time. Well, this is certainly a pretty rooty-tooty, all right. Come to think of it, it's hardly an occasion at all. Scarcely be considered a wedding at all when you run off to Maryland on an impulse as Dexter and I did. 10 months is quite a long time to be married, though. You have a baby in 9, can't you? I suppose, if you put your mind to it. Why didn't you? Mother, isn't it time for her nap? I imagine you enjoyed her snoozing them. I hope so, dear. All like you, with your same wild grace. Look it. The other time, he's back from wherever he's been.
What do you mean?
Dexter, of course. I saw his car in front of his house. The roadster. It must be him.
Well, when did you?
This morning, early, when I was out exercising the hooper.
Why didn't you tell us?
Oh, Mother, I'm not worried. The only trouble Mr. C.K. Dexter Haven ever gave me was when he married me. You would say the same for one Seth Lord if you just faced it as squarely as I did.
That will do. I will allow none of you to criticize your father.
What are we expected to do when he treats you as if nothing ever happened?
That's all, Tracy.
All right, Mother, I give up.
And besides, in lieu of this second attempt of yours, it might pay you to remind yourself that neither of us have made such a great success as a wife.
We just chose the wrong first husbands, that's all.
What an extremely vulgar remark.
Mother, who cares about either of them anymore? I'm going to be so happy.
Oh, darling.
Isn't George an angel?
George is an angel.
Is he or is he not handsome?
Oh, he's handsome.
Sons of a lucky girl. I like Dexter. Really, Dinah? Why don't you invite him to lunch or something? She's awfully mean about him, isn't she?
Oh, he was rather mean to her, my dear.
Did he really sock her?
Don't say sock. Now, strike is quite an ugly enough word.
But did he really?
I'm afraid I don't know the details.
Cruelty and drunkenness, it said.
Dinah.
But it was right in the papers.
You read too much, you'll spoil your eyes.
I've heard some awful things to say about a man. I don't think they like things like that said about them.
No, I'm sure they don't.
And Father's going to be hopping when he reads all about himself in a magazine, doesn't he, when it comes out?
Or what? About whom?
Father, that they're going to publish.
Dinah, what are you talking about?
It's what they call proof sheets that they're going to call Broadway and Finance, and Father's in it. So they just sort of sent it on to Sandy, on approval.
But the article, what does the article say?
Oh, it's probably about Father backing 3 shows for that dancer, or what's her name, Tina Mara, and the stables, and about his early history, and why isn't he without S anymore.
Great
and
heavens. Oh, what on earth can we do?
Couldn't Father sue for liability?
But it's true. It's all, that is, I mean...
I don't think the part about Tina Mara is, the way they put it, it's simply full of innuendo.
Of what?
Of innuendo.
Why didn't Sandy tell us?
Mother, why won't Tracy ask her own father to her wedding?
Your sister has very definite opinions about certain things.
She's sort of, hard, isn't she?
Oh, not hard. None of my children is that, I hope. Tracy just sets exceptionally high standards for herself, that's all. And although she can live up to them, other people aren't always quite able to. If your Uncle Willie Tracy comes in, tell him to wait. I want to see him.
Tell me one thing. Don't you think it's stinky not to at least want Father?
Between ourselves, darling, yes. I think it's good instinctively.
And I bet if Dexter knew what she... Hello, may I please speak to Mr. Dexter Haven? Well, Dexter, it's you. A very great pleasure to Dinah, go Dinah Lord. What? You bet. Listen, Dexter, Tracy says, why don't you come right over for lunch? What? Well, she told me to ask you. Listen, though, maybe it'd be better if you just did. Well, hello? Hello? Who was that? Wrong number.
Hello, kids.
Sandy!
Hi, Trey. Wow, you look great.
Thanks.
Oh, where's Mother?
Oh, she's around. How's New York?
Still there. Is there a party tonight?
Absolutely. Aunt Geneva's throwing a monster.
Boy, am I going to get plastered. Hello, little fella.
Well, yourself.
Here, this is for you, mug. Get the 3 racehorses into the paddock. It's tough. Work it out.
Thanks.
My wedding present comes to you by registered mail, Trey, and a pretty penny it set me back.
You're a bonny boy, Sandy. I love you.
Oh, yes, mutual.
I was wondering about you.
Hi, you look great. Give us a kiss. Mwah. How's everything?
Oh, absolute chaos.
Well, just how you like it, huh? Just when you function best. Well, where's George, Tracy?
Oh, he's in the gatehouse. He had business to finish up. I thought he'd be quieter there.
Did he see his picture and dime? Was he sore at the former coal miner caption?
What about this other magazine? This Destiny and this horrible article about Tina Mara and your father. Can't it be stopped?
Where'd you get a hold of that?
Dinah, get ready for lunch.
Okay, in a minute. The absolute devils. Who publishes Destiny?
Sydney Kidd, also dime, also spied the picture sheet. I worked on dime for 2 summers, remember that?
Well, it's got to be stopped. I'll go to him myself.
A fat lot of good that would do. You're too much alike. God save us from the strong. I saw Kidd the day before yesterday. Took about 3 hours, but I finally got through to him.
What happened?
I think I fixed things.
How?
That would be telling.
Well, just so long as your father never hears of it.
I had a copy of the piece made, and I sent it around to his flat with a little note saying, "How do you like it?"
You are a fella.
Sandy.
Why not? Let him worry a little.
I worry a lot.
Yes, Emma.
Mr. Connor and the ladies say they will be down directly, sir.
That's fine. Tell May or Alice to look after Miss Embry, will you?
Very good, sir.
What's all this?
Mr. Connor and...
Mike Connor. Macaulay Connor's name is Anna. Elizabeth Embry. I'm putting them up for over the wedding. They're quite nice. You'll like them.
You asked people to this house without even asking us?
I think it's mighty queer indeed.
I think it's queerer than that. I think it's idiotic.
I just sort of drifted into them, and we got to talking about what Riot's weddings were as a rule, and they'd never been to a Philadelphia one, so I figured that...
You're lying, Sandy. I can always tell. Elizabeth Embry, I know that name. She's a photographer.
For a fact.
For a couple of facts and a good one.
Well, it might be nice to have some good shots of the wedding.
Sandy, what are they doing here?
Well, right now I suppose they're freshening up. They're very interesting people. She's practically an artist, and he's written a couple of books, and I thought you liked interesting people.
I do. Wait a minute. They're from Destiny. Destiny sent them.
Destiny.
You're just a massive intuition, Tracy.
Well, they can go right back where they came from.
Oh, no, they can't. Not till they get their story.
What story?
The Philadelphia story.
And what on earth is that?
Well, it seems Kidd has had Connor and Embry and a couple of others down here for 2 months doing the town. I mean, writing it up. Anyway, it's to come out in 3 parts in the autumn. There is industrial Philadelphia, historical Philadelphia, and then there's the third.
I'm going to be sick.
Yes, dear. Fashionable Philadelphia.
Oh, I am sick.
But why us, Sandy? Surely there's other families that wouldn't mind.
Well, we go way back, and then, of course, there's Tracy's former marriage and her good looks and her general prowess in golf, fox hunting with a little big game on the side, and her impending second marriage into the coal
Oh,
field.
never mind that.
I don't, but they do. It's news, darling, news.
Is there no such thing as privacy anymore?
Only in bed, Mother, and not always then.
Anyhow, I thought I was licked, and what else could I do?
A trade, huh? So I'm supposed to let them publish the inside story of my wedding just to save Father's wretched little affair from being published?
It's utterly and completely disgusting.
What's the writer's name?
Connor, Macaulay Connor. I don't think he likes his Simon any more than we do, the gal either. They were handling the industrial end.
Oh, my heart is breaking for them.
Well, I don't know what the world's coming to. It's an absolute invasion. 2 strange people tramping through the house, prying and investigating.
Mr. Graves, Tracy Lord here. How are you? Good. I was wondering if you had any books on hand by Macaulay Connor. You have. Fabulous. Could you have them sent out to the house this afternoon? Thank you very much. You're sweet. Oh, if they have to have a story, I'll give them a story. I'll give them one that can't get through the mails.
Oh, I was afraid of this.
Who the hell do they think they are? Just barging in on peaceful people, jotting notes on all our mannerisms, how we sit, stand.
Will they do that?
Well, if we have to submit to this to save Father's face, which incidentally doesn't deserve saving, I say we give them a vision of home life to stand their hair on end.
You will do nothing of the sort, Tracy.
Oh, she thinks she'll be the outrageous Miss Lord. The fact is, she'll probably be sweetness and light.
Oh, will I?
It's
You
odd.
don't know yet how being under the microscope does to people. Whew! I felt a little coming out in the car. It's a funny feeling.
It's odd how strange and we've all become over the worldly possessions that once made us so confident.
I know. You catch yourself explaining away your dough the way you would a black eye. You sort of run into it in the dark or something.
Well, we'll be ourselves with them, absolutely ourselves.
But Mother, you have to create a good impression, don't you?
They don't know that we know why they're here, I think.
No, that was understood.
Well, I should think it looked funny to them Father's not being here for his own daughter's wedding.
That's all right. I fixed that too.
How do you mean?
There will be a telegram delivered before dinner. Confined to bed with a cold, unable to attend nuptials, oceans of love, Father.
Not just in those words.
Not exactly. It'll come over the telephone and Emma will take it and you won't have your glasses and she'll read it aloud to you.
Tracy, will you promise to behave like a lady, if only for my sake?
Yes, Mrs. Lord, although I don't know how much good that will do.
Well, go put on a dress.
Yes, Mother.
There are too many ladies around here.
Oh, suds, I'll be pure Victorian, all frills and ruffles. Well, hello, Uncle Willie, how are you?
Your great Aunt Geneva has requested my absence from the house until dinner time. Can you feed me lunch, Margaret?
Of course, with pleasure.
Hello, Uncle Willie.
Dinah! How are you, Uncle Alexander? Good morning. My esteemed wife, the old war horse, is certainly spreading herself for your party. I seriously question the propriety of such display in such times, but why aren't you getting married in church, Tracy?
I much prefer the parlor. Didn't it look pretty as you came through, Uncle Willie?
That is not the point. The point is I sunk thousands in that church and I'd like to get some use out of it. Give me a drink of sherry, Margaret.
Not until lunchtime, my dear.
Women.
You're really a wicked old man, aren't you?
What's that over there?
What?
You never play with fire, child. What's the stirring? What's the miss?
Uncle Willie, do you know anything about the laws of libel?
Do I know anything about the libels? Of course I do. Why shouldn't I? Why, in 1916, I, Willie Q. Tracy, successfully defended the Post and George Lorimer personally against one of the subtlest, one of the cleverest. Why, what are you trying to say?
Well, it isn't what I want to say.
Well, is it enough if they can simply prove that it's true?
Oh, certainly not. Take me. If I were bald and wore a toupee, if I had flat feet and wore those damnable metal arches, false teeth, double V.
Oh, Uncle Willie!
I said if I had. And if they were to publish such facts in the public print in such a fashion as to hold me up to public ridicule, I could sue them for millions and would if it took me all winter.
Well, suppose the other way around. Suppose that it wasn't true.
Oh, suppose it was, then they probably collect then, but who are those strange people coming down the hall?
Ouch! Oh, good one, Uncle Willie.
What the devil?
Dinah,
But Mother, shouldn't we stay and help find out?
Uncle Willie.
Sandy can entertain them until we collect ourselves.
What do I say?
I wish I could tell you in a very few words.
In here?
He said the sitting room. I suppose that's contrasted to the living room, the ballroom, the drawing room. Oh, hello again. Here you are.
Here I am.
It's quite a place.
It is, isn't it? Listen, I couldn't help overhearing you as you came in. Do you mind if I say something?
Not at all. What?
Well, your approach to your job seems definitely antagonistic. I don't think it's fair. I think you ought to give us a break.
It's not a job I asked for.
I know it's not. And in spite of it, and in spite of certain regrettable inherited characteristics, we might be fairly decent. Why not wait and see?
You have quite a style yourself. You're on the Saturday Evening Post, did you say?
I work for it.
Which end?
Editorial.
I have to tell you in all honesty, I'm opposed to everything that you represent.
Destiny is hardly a radical sheet. What is it you're doing? Boring from within?
And I'm not a communist, not by a long shot.
Just a small pin feather in the left wing. Sorry.
Jeffersonian Democrat.
That's more like it.
Have you ever seen his house at Monticello? It's quite a place, too.
21, visitors nothing. Is this house very old, Mr. Lord?
No, there are very few old ones on the main line. The gatehouses, of course. Father's grandfather built that as a summer house when they all lived on Rittenhouse Square. Father and mother did this about 1910, the spring before my brother Junius was born. He's the oldest. You won't be meeting him. He's in a diplomatic service in London.
Wouldn't you know?
I worked for Sidney Kidd once. What do you make of him?
A wonderful man and a brilliant editor.
Also our bread and butter.
Sorry to have been rude.
The research department didn't give us much data. Your sister's fiancé, George Kittredge, age 32, since last year general manager, Quaker State Coal, in charge of operations. Is that right?
That's right, and brilliant at it.
So I've heard tell. I seem to have read about him first back in 35 or 36, up from the bottom, wasn't he?
Just exactly, and of the mind.
Reorganized the entire works.
He did.
National hero, new model, makes drooping family incomes to revive again. Anthracite, sweet anthracite. How did your sister happen to meet him?
She and I went up a couple months ago to look things over.
I see, and was it instant?
Immediate.
Good for her. He must be quite a guy. Which side of this fine aboriginal family would you say she resembles most?
The histories of both are in the library. I'll get them out for you. I'll also see if I can round up some of the living members.
Do they know about us?
Pleasant or not, don't you think?
Much.
That's what I thought. Also what Kid thought.
Look here, Lord.
Yes,
Why don't you just throw us out?
I hope you'll never know.
Meaning what?
Search me.
Maybe dear Kidder is up to his old tricks.
Wish I could get away from this damn paper.
And Sydney kid, you can't get away from dear.
I tried to resign again on the phone this morning.
Ooh, knickknacks, room cracks. Ooh, signed photographs. Wouldn't you know you have to be as rich as the Lord to live in a dump like this?
First husband, C.K. I wonder what a guy named C.K. Dexter Haven must be like.
Macaulay Connor is not such a homespun tag, my pet.
I've been called Mike since I can remember.
Well, maybe Dexter's Ducky to his friends.
I wouldn't doubt it. Still, I wonder what the C.K. is for.
I knew a plain Joe Smith once. He's only a clerk at a hardware store, but boy, was he a louse.
It says here he also plays polo, also designs and races sailboats. Class boats, I think they call him. A very upper class, of course.
Don't despair, he's out. And Kittredge, man of the people, is in.
From all reports, quite a comer, too. Political timber. Poor fellow, I wonder how he fell for it.
Well, maybe she's a young lady that knows what she wants when she wants it.
The young, rich, rapacious American female. There's no other country where she exists.
You know, I'll admit, the idea of her just scares me, but would I trade places with her for all this wealth and beauty? Boy, just ask me.
I know how I'm going to begin. So much for industrial Philadelphia, so much for historical. Now, gentle reader, consider an entire section of American society which, closely following the English tradition, lives off the land, but in a new sense. It is not the land that provides the living.
You're ahead of yourself, dear. Wait till you do your documentation.
I'm tired. Kid is a slave driver. I wish I was home in bed. Also, I'm hungry. Tell 4 footmen to call me in time for lunch.
Oh, how do you do? Friends Alexander's, are you not?
How do you do? Why?
I'm Diana Lord. My real name is Diana, but my sister changed it.
Hi, I'm Liz Embry.
I tried to born to Connaissance. I spoke French before I spoke English. My early childhood was spent in Paris. My father worked in a bank. The house of Morgan.
Really?
Celebrating absolument. I know a lovely little tune. Shall I sing it for you? My gal's a corker. She's a New Yorker. I buy her everything to keep her in style. She's got a pair of eyes just like 2 lemon pies. Hey boys, that's where my money goes. My gal's a corker. She's a New Yorker.
Idiot
I
problem
buy
is-
her
They happen in the
to keep
best
her
hands,
inside.
especially in
She's
the
got a
best.
pair of hips just like two battleships. Hey boys, that's what my money goes. The Bahamas, how well I remember them. The perfume lands, the native wines. I was there once for a little trip to Swarovski.
You were there with your governess after the whooping cough.
My sister Tracy, greetings, sister.
Mother wants to see you at once. At once.
You got my hair.
Your face is still dirty. So nice of you to come. I do hope you'll stay for my wedding.
Oh, we'd like to very much.
In fact, that was our idea.
Well, I'm so glad it occurred to you. I'm sorry the house is in such a mess. We'll have to huddle in here and overflow onto the porch. Please, I hope your rooms are comfortable.
Oh, they are. Thank you.
Anything you want, ask May or Alice. They're simply magic. Well, what a cunning little camera that is.
Oh, it's a contacts. I'm afraid I'm a nuisance with it.
Oh, but you couldn't be. I hope you'll take loads. Dear Mama and Papa won't allow any reporters in. That is except for little Mr. Grace, who does the social news. Can you imagine a grown-up man having to sing so low?
It does seem pretty bad.
Dear Mama and Papa were awfully angry. After my divorce, quite a few reporters, well, I suppose that's more or less deserved, but Papa swore he'd never let another writer in. He said their methods were a trifle underhanded. You're a writer, aren't you, Mr. Connor?
In a manner of speaking.
Sandy told me. I sent for your books. Macaulay Connor. What's the Macaulay for?
My father taught English history. I'm Mike to my friends.
Of whom you have many, I'm sure. Now, let's see. English history's always fascinated me. Cromwell, Bloody Mary, John the Bastard. Where did he teach? I mean, your father.
In high school in South Bend, Indiana.
South Bend, it sounds like dancing, doesn't it? I'm sure you had a most happy childhood there.
It was terrific.
I'm so glad.
I didn't mean it that way.
I'm so sorry. Why?
Largely due to the lack of wherewithal.
Now, that doesn't always cause unhappiness, does it? Not if you're the right kind of man. My fiancé, George Kittredge, he never had anything either, but are either of you two married?
No.
I mean, no.
You mean you were, but now you're divorced?
Well, the fact is,
Oh, said again, and you're ashamed of it.
of course I'm not ashamed of it.
What?
It was in Duluth when I was a mere kid.
Liz, you never told me you...
You never asked.
I know, but...
Joe Smith, hardware.
Liz, you're the damnedest girl.
I think I'm sweet.
Now, Duluth, that must be a lovely spot. It's west of here, isn't it?
Sort of. Occasionally we get the breezes.
Oh, this is your first visit in Philadelphia.
Just about.
It's a quaint old place, don't you think? How old are you, Mr. Connor?
I was 30 last month.
2 books isn't much for a man of 30. Oh, not to criticize. I'm sure you have other interests outside your work.
Well, none, unless...
Oh, how sweet. Are you living together?
No, we're not.
Oh, that's an odd question, I must say.
Why?
It just is.
I don't see why. I think it's quite interesting. Tell me something, Miss Ivory. Don't you think all this marrying and giving in marriage is the darndest gift that's ever been put over on an unsuspecting public?
Can she be human?
Please, Mr. Connor. I'm asking Miss Ivory a question.
As a matter of fact, no, I don't.
Nor do I. That's why I'm putting my chin out for the second time tomorrow.
Tracy!
There's the lucky man now. I'll bring him in and put him on view. A one-man exhibition. In here, George. In here, darling.
My God, who's doing the interviewing here?
She's a lot more than I counted on.
Do you suppose somehow she caught on?
No, she's just a hellion.
God, I feel like the size of a pinhead.
Don't let her throw you.
Do you want to take over?
I want to go home.
Mr. Connor, Miss Imbrie, my beau, George Kittredge, friends of Sandy's.
Any friend of Sandy's?
How do you know?
How do you do?
Fine as silk, thanks.
Sure look it.
Well, thanks. I've shaken quite a lot of coal dust from my feet in the last day or two.
Isn't he beautiful? Isn't it lovely what a little soap and water can do?
I seem to have read a piece about you in The Nation a while back.
Quite a while ago, I've been resting on my laurels since that, and a couple of others.
I see. Quite a nifty piece of work. Anticipating the Guffey coal act the way you did, or do I remember it straight?
Anyone could have foreseen it. I was just lucky.
Becoming modesty, I'm sure.
Well, that's nothing to what's yet to be done with labor
You should
relations.
see him with the men. They simply adore him.
Oh, come on, Tracy.
I hope they do. I'll never forget the first time I saw you. Those wonderful faces and the torchlights, the way his voice just boomed.
You see, I'm really a spellbinder. That's the way I got her.
Except it was me who got you. I'm putting these two at the bridal table in place of the Grants.
That's a good idea.
And George, it's not going to rain, is it? Promise me it won't rain.
Tracy, I'll see to that personally.
I almost believe you could.
This must be love.
Your guess is correct, Mr. Connor.
I'm just his faithful old dog, Trey.
Give me your paw.
You got it.
How do you do? We're so happy to have you. Forgive me for not coming in sooner, but things are in such a state. I'd no idea that a simple country wedding could involve so much. My little girl. Oh, I do hope you'll be comfortable. Those rooms tend to be hot in this weather. My, aren't you pretty, my dear? Look at the way she wears her hair. Isn't that pretty?
Mighty
Tracy?
fine.
Well, I did hope that my husband might be here to greet you, but we expect him presently. He's being detained in New York on business for that lovely Tina Mara. Do you know her work?
Only vaguely.
Oh, so talented and such a lovely person. But like all artists, no business ed, none whatsoever. Oh, good morning, George.
Good morning, Mother Lord.
And this is my youngest daughter, Diana.
Yes, we've met.
And oh, good, here's our sherry.
Well then, why don't we just all relax, have a seat, throw ourselves into things. Hi, George.
Well, hello, Sandy. Welcome home.
Thanks.
After lunch, Sandy must show you some of the sights. The chicken farm, the model dairy, and the stables. And perhaps it'll be time enough to run you out to some of the other places on the main line. Devon, St. David's, and Bryn Mawr, where my daughter Tracy went to college.
Just got bounced on her back.
Dinah.
It's a pretty kettle of fish when a man has to wait 2 more hours for an eye opener.
Papa!
What's that?
Oh, dear Papa, didn't the car meet you?
The car.
Oh, isn't he an angel, Mama, just to drop everything and come here for lunch?
Why, yes, indeed he is.
I want to jump to conclusions.
Papa, these are our friends. I'm Mr. Connor and Miss Embry. Friends of Sandy's, they're staying for the wedding.
How do you do, Mr. Lord?
How do you do, Mr. Lord?
That's fine. How are you?
Hi, Pops.
Alexander.
Welcome back, Daddy.
My Dinah. Kedrick. Margaret, my dear.
Sherry, Papa. Mama, why don't you take him, Papa, and explain the new arrangement for lunch?
Oh, why, yes, I think that would be best. Come on, we'll look over that list now, Sam.
Holy cow. Hello,
Mr. Haven.
I came the short way across the fields.
Well, this is a surprise.
I should think it is.
Hello, you sweet thing.
Now, you go right home at once.
Get along with you, young man.
But I've been invited. How are you, sir?
No better, no worse. Get along.
Hello, Sandy. How are you, boy? Never better. In fact, it's immoral how good I feel.
What brings you here, Mr. Haven?
Dinah, my angel. Why, she has turned into a raving beauty. Awfully sweet and thoughtful of you to ask me to lunch, Trey.
Not at all. Another place, Alice.
Yes, Miss Tracy.
Of course, I intended to come anyway, but it did make it pleasanter.
Mr. Connor, Miss Embry, my former husband, whose name for the moment escapes me.
How do you do? How are you? Hello, Kittredge.
How are you, Haven?
What's the matter? You don't look as well as when I last saw you. Poor fellow. I know just how you feel. Redhead. Isn't she in the pink, though? You know, you don't look old enough to marry anyone, even for the first time. But you never did. If she needs trouble to mature her, Kittredge, make sure you give her lots of it.
I'm afraid you can't count on me for that.
No? Oh, too bad. You know, sometimes I think you should have stuck to me longer for your own sake, Red.
I thought it was for life, but the nice judge gave me a full pardon.
Now that's the kind of talk I like to hear. No bitterness, no recrimination, just a good quick left to the jaw.
Very funny.
Luncheon is served, madam.
Oh, thank you, Elsie.
I guess a man never had a better or finer family. I wake in the night and I say to myself, Seth, you lucky dog, what have you ever done to deserve all this?
Come along, everyone.
Miss Embry, you don't mind if I take Mr. Connor in for lunch, do you?
No, not in the least.
Oh, Sandy's your boy.
Come on, Dinah. I draw you, I guess.
Now, isn't snatching one of my girls enough, you cad?
You're a very bright fellow, Haven. I'll hire you.
Uncle Willie!
I don't know how welcome I am, but after Sandy's
Please,
note,
everybody go in. I'd like a word with Uncle Willie.
old daughter?
Well,
Still justice with her shining sword, eh? Who's on the spot?
we are, thanks to you, Uncle Willie.
You know, I may need some more film.
I may need more paper.
You know, there's a cousin that's crazy.
Who told you?
Dinah.
Dinah should know.
Oh, where is she? I want to take some more photos of her before it gets dark.
If she's out schooling a horse somewhere, it's the horses that get the schooling hereabouts.
So what do you think of Kittredge?
Caption, George Kittredge. Important official, important company. Controlling interests owned by Seth Lord.
Will coincidences ever cease?
I'm inclined to like Kittredge. I think he's in a tough spot with Haven prowling around, though.
Yeah, sinister fellow, Dexter Haven.
He is very. But George is interesting. Get him on coal sometime.
I'd rather have him on toast.
Answer me honestly, Liz. What place has a girl like Tracy Lord to exist?
Politically, socially, or economically?
She's a new one on me.
You're the funny one, Mike.
Why?
Use the name Wanamaker in a sentence.
I bite.
I met a girl this morning. I hate her, but I
get you, but you're wrong. You couldn't be wronger. Women like that bore the pants off me.
For a writer, you use your figures of speech most ineptly. You know, I wish they knew why we were here. They're all such sweet innocents, and it just kind of makes me feel...
Would you accept this perfect rose, Miss Embry?
Why, thank you, Mr. Lord. It's a beauty.
Uncle Willie, I was thinking of inviting that little dancer, Tina Mara, down to dance for the wedding guests tomorrow. What do you think of that idea?
Excellent. Might put an end to all the ridiculous gossip about you.
Oh, is there gossip?
There seems to be.
Is it ridiculous?
All gossip is ridiculous.
Look alive, man. Almost time to dress for the party.
Right you are. Thanks, Andy.
Miss Embry, as a camera buff, I think I have another interesting subject for you.
But will I have time?
Time is an illusion. Come with me, please. It's part of the old house, a little removed from it.
What is it?
An ancient granite privy of superb design.
At sunset? I do it! Come on!
Wait a minute, will you?
Certainly, if you like. What's the matter?
I've been reading these stories. They're so beautiful.
Do I? Thanks.
Like, Hunter, they're almost poetry.
Don't fool yourself. They are.
Can't make you out at all now.
Really? I thought I was easy.
So did I. But you're not. You talk so big and tough, and then you write like this. Which is which?
I guess I'm both.
No, I think you put the toughness on to save your skin.
You think?
Yes, I know a little about that.
Do you?
Quite a lot. The book. It just was such a complete surprise, that's all.
Yes, it seems you do.
What?
Know about it.
The one called With the Rich and Mighty, I think I liked it best.
I got that from a Spanish peasant's proverb. With the rich and mighty, always a little patience.
Tell me something, will you? When you can do something like that, why would you possibly do anything else?
Such as what?
What was it you said after lunch? Cheap stuff for expensive magazines?
Did I?
Yes, you did. You said you spent most of your time that way.
Practically all. Why? What about it?
I just don't understand it, and I like to understand things.
Well, you'll never believe it, but there are people in this world who have to earn their living.
Yes, but people buy books, don't they?
Sure they do. They even read them.
Well?
Well, that one there represents 2 solid years' work, and it netted Connor something under $600.
Oh, but that shouldn't be.
Only unhappily, it is.
And you're Miss Embry?
Well, Miss Embry is in somewhat the same fix. She is a born painter and might be an important one, but she must eat. And she prefers a roof over her head to being out in the rain and snow.
Food and a roof, food and a roof.
Those charming essentials.
Listen, I've got an idea. I've got the most marvelous little house in Union Village. It's up on a hill. It's up on a hill with a view that would knock you silly. I'm not there much, except in the hunting season, and not much then. And I'd be so happy to know it's of some use to someone. There's a brook and a small lake, no size really, and a little patch of woods. Oh, in any kind of weather, it's the. Oh, hell, someone's coming. Someone I don't want to be alone with. Stand by a couple of minutes, will you?
Yes, if you like.
And you'll think about the house?
It's very
Well, don't
nice.
think I'd come trooping in every minute, because I wouldn't. I'd never come, except when expressly asked to.
It's not that.
Well, what is it?
Well, you see, the idea of artists having a patron has more or less gone out.
I see. That wasn't especially kind of you, Mr. Connor. There's no need to rub our general uselessness in.
I didn't quite mean...
I'm sorry to have seemed patronizing.
I don't seem to...
Don't bother, really.
Hello.
Good morning. Fancy seeing you here.
Orange juice? Well, certainly.
Sure you wouldn't like something stronger? I'll ring if you like.
Oh, not now, thanks. This is fine.
Don't tell me you've forsaken your beloved whiskey and whiskeys.
Oh, no, indeed. I've just changed their color, that's all. I go in for the pale pastel shades now. I find they're more becoming. Do you drink, Mr. Connor?
A little? Why?
Not to excess.
Not often.
And a writer. Well, it's extraordinary. I thought all writers drank to excess and beat their wives. I expected at one time I secretly wanted to be a writer.
Dexter, would you do something for me?
Oh, anything. What?
Get the hell out of here.
Oh, no. Couldn't do that. That wouldn't be fair to you. You need me too much.
Dexter, why do you insist on hanging around? Oh, Mr. Connor, please don't leave. I'd really prefer it if you wouldn't.
Yes, so should I, Mr. Connor. You stay. As a writer, this ought to be right up your street.
Don't miss a word.
Honestly, Red, you never looked better in your life. You're getting a fine tawny look.
Oh, we're going to talk about me, are we? Goody.
It is astonishing what money can do for people. Don't you agree, Mr. Connor? I mean, not too much, you know, just more than enough. Especially for women. Look at Tracy. There's never been a blow that hasn't been softened for her. And there'll never be one that won't be softened. Why, it even changed her shape. She was a dumpy little thing originally.
Only as it happens, I'm not interested in talking about myself. What interests me now is what, if any, your real point is.
Not interested in yourself? My dear, you are fascinated. You're far and away your favorite person in the world. Shall I go on?
Please do, by all means.
She is, of course, kindness itself, Mr. Connor.
Itself, Mr.
Generous to a fault, well, that is, except to other people's faults. For instance, she never had the slightest sympathy toward, nor understanding of what used to be known as my deep and gorgeous thirst.
That was your problem.
That was the problem of a young man in exceptionally high spirits who drank to slow down that damned machine he'd found nothing yet to do with. I refer to my mind. You took on that problem with me when you took me, Tracy. You were no helpmate there. You were a scold.
It was disgusting. It made you so unattractive.
Oh, a weakness, sure. And strength is her religion, Mr. Connor. You see, she is a goddess without patience for any kind of human imperfection. And when I gradually came to realize that my relation to her was not to be that of a good companion and a loving husband, but more of, never mind.
Say it.
But that of kind of a high priest to a virgin goddess. Well, then my drinks grew more frequent and deeper in hue, that's all.
I never considered you as that, nor myself.
Oh, but you did, without knowing it. And on the night that you got drunk on champagne and climbed out onto the roof and stood there naked with your arms out to the moon, wailing like a banshee.
I told you I never had the slightest recollection of that night.
Yes, I know. You forgot. You wanted to. Well, what would you say, Mr. Connor, in the case of...
He's a reporter, incidentally. He's doing us for Destiny.
Yes, I know. Sandy told me. You know, it's a pity we can't supply photographs of you on the roof.
Honestly, the fuss you made over that silly, childish incident will...
But it was enormously important and quite revealing. You see, the moon is also a goddess, chaste and virginal.
Stop using those foul words. We were married nearly a year, weren't we?
But marriage doesn't change a true case like yours, my dear. It's an affair of the spirit, not the flesh.
Dexter, what are you trying to make me out as?
Tracy, what do you fancy yourself as?
I don't know that I fancy myself as anything.
When I read that you were going to marry Kittredge, I couldn't believe it. How in the world can you even think of it?
Because I love him, as I never even began to love you.
Well, that may be true, but I doubt it. I think it's just a swing from me and what I represent. But it's too violent a swing. That's why I came on. Kittredge is no great pillar of strength, Tracy. He's just a pillar.
How long have you known him? Half a day?
No, I knew him 2 days, 2 years ago. When I went up to the fields with your father. but a half a day would have done, I think.
It's just personal then.
Yes, purely and completely.
I couldn't expect you to know George nor his strengths.
I suppose when you come right down to it, Trey, it just offends my vanity to have anyone who was ever remotely my wife remarry so obviously beneath her.
Beneath me? How dare you, any of you in this
I
day
am
and
talking
age?
about a difference in mind and imagination. You could marry Mac, the night watchman, and I would cheer for you.
And what's wrong with George?
Oh, nothing. Utterly nothing. He's a wizard at his job, and I'm sure he is honest, sober, and industrious. He's just not for you.
He is for me. He's a great man and a good man. He's already of national importance.
Oh, good Lord, you sound like destiny talking. Well, whatever he is, Trey, this time you'll have to stick. He'll give you no out as I did.
I won't require one.
You know, I suppose you'd still be attractive to any man of spirit, that is. There's something about it, this virgin goddess business. Something more challenging to the male than the more obvious charms.
You sound contemptuous of me all of a sudden.
No, not of you, Red. Never of you. You could be the finest woman on this earth. If I'm contemptuous of anything, it's of something in you. Something you either can't help or make no attempt to. Your so-called strength. Your prejudice against weakness. Your blank intolerance.
Is that all?
That's the gist of it. Because you'll never be a first-class woman or a first-class human being until you've learned to have some small regard for human frailty. You know, it's a pity that your own foot can't slip a little sometime. But no, your sense of inner divinity will not allow it. The goddess must and shall remain intact.
Captain Dex, did you say another word?
I suppose I ought to object to this twosome.
That would be most objectionable. Well, anytime either of you should require any more advice from me...
When we do, we'll give you a ring, Haven.
Yes, do that, will you? You'll find that I have a most sympathetic and understanding ear. Oh, by the way, Trey, I left a little wedding present for you there on the table. Sorry I hadn't any ribbon to tie it up with.
You see, it's no use even attempting to be friendly.
Oh, of course not, dear. You were dear to try. It's anyone's guess what it might be. It's a photograph of the true love.
What's that?
The true love. It's a boat he designed and built practically. We sailed her up the coast of Maine the summer we were married. My, she was yar.
Yar? What does that mean?
Oh, what does it mean? Easy to handle, quick to the helm, fast, bright, everything a boat should be, and to hell with it.
Rather bad taste, I'd say, giving you that.
Dexter doesn't concern himself much with taste.
How'd you ever happen to marry a fellow like that, Tracy?
I don't know, hangover from childhood days. We grew up together.
I see, propinquity.
George, to get away. Get away, to somehow feel useful.
Useful? I'm going to build you an ivory tower with my own two hands.
Like fun you are.
You mean you've been in one too long?
Well, I mean that in a lot of things.
I'm going to make a grand life, dear, and you can help all right.
I hope I can.
From now on, we'll both stop wasting time on unimportant people.
It's fine with me.
Our little house on the river up there, I'd like people to consider it an honor to be asked there.
Why an honor especially?
We're going to represent something, Tracy, something straight and sound and fine. And then perhaps young Mr. Haven may be somewhat less condescending.
Oh, George, you don't mind him, do you? I mean the fact of him that...
I don't see what you mean.
I mean that he and I were ever... He was ever my lord and master, that we were ever...
I don't believe he ever was, Tracy. Not really. I don't believe anyone ever was or ever will be. That's the wonderful thing about you.
What? How do
You're like some marvelous distant... Oh, queen, I guess. You're so cool and fine and so much your own. That's a wonderful you in you that no one can really ever possess. It's a kind of beautiful purity, Tracy. That's the only word for it.
George...
Oh, it's grand, Tracy. It's just grand. Everyone feels it about you. And it's what I first worshipped before, Tracy, from afar.
George, listen.
Oh, yes, dear, now and always. Only from a little nearer now, eh, darling?
George, I don't want to be worshipped. I want to be loved.
Well, you're that, too. You're that, all right.
I mean, really loved.
But that goes without saying, Tracy.
No, it's you who doesn't see what I mean. Oh, you can leave those there, please.
Shall I put this picture with the other presents, Miss Tracy?
Oh, no, leave it there, please.
Yes, miss.
Don't let Miss Ember get hold of it.
I should say not.
I do hope they'll soft pedal the first marriage angle.
I wish they'd pedal themselves right out of here.
They've got a job to do, and it's an honor, you know, Tracy.
What is?
Why, to be done by destiny.
Are you joking?
Joking?
mean, you can't tell me you think it's an honor to have me.
I think destiny fills a very definite place, Tracy.
But George, you aren't dressed. And Tracy, you're the guest of honor. You mustn't be late.
Right on my way, Mother Lord. Wait for me, Tracy. I make the gatehouse a nothing flat now.
Does he by any chance ever walk anywhere?
When he likes, I suppose.
Oh, don't take things to heart so, Tracy. You'll wear yourself out.
Oh, I'll only be a minute.
There's no hurry, Miss Embry.
What bothers me is the spectacle we're all making of ourselves for the benefit of the young man and woman from destiny.
Whose fault is it?
That's beside the point.
Never in my life have I felt so self-conscious. It's all simply dreadful.
It's worse. It's stupid and childish and completely undignified.
So are other things.
Well, the least we can do is to inform Connor and the camera lady that we're all quite aware of their purpose here.
I'll tell them myself.
I think it would come better from me as at least titular head of the family.
As much as you let us in for it in the first place.
Do keep that tone out of your voice, Tracy. It's most unattractive.
Oh, is it? How does Miss Mara talk, or does she purr?
Tracy?
Sweet and low, I suppose. Dulcet, very ladylike. You cut a fine right you have. Come in here in your best country attitude, strike attitudes and make stands and criticize my fiancé and mess things up in general.
Tracy, you stop it instantly.
I can't help it, Mother, as if you've done nothing at all.
This is no concern of yours. Why, if it concerns anyone, it concerns, well, actually, I don't know whom it concerns except your father.
That's very wise of you, Margaret. What most wives won't seem to realize is that their husband's philandering, particularly the middle-aged type, has nothing whatever to do with them.
Really? What has it to do with then?
A reluctance to grow old, I think. I suppose the best mainstay a man can have as he gets along in years is a daughter, the right kind of daughter.
Very interesting, to say the least.
One who loves him blindly, as no good wife ever should, of course. One for whom he can do no wrong.
How sweet.
I'm talking seriously about something I've thought out thoroughly. I've had to. I think a devoted young daughter gives a man the illusion that youth is still his.
Very important, I suppose.
Very. And without her, he's inclined to go in search of it again. For it's as precious to him as it is to any woman. But with a girl of his own, full of warmth for him, full of foolish, unquestioning, uncritical affection.
None of which I've got.
None. You've got a pretty face, a good mind, and a disciplined body that does what you tell it. You have more wealth than any of us, thanks to one grandfather's name and another's red hair, and a shameless play for both of them since about age 3.
I love them.
In fact, you have everything it takes to make a lovely woman except for the one essential, an understanding heart. Without it, you might as well be made of bronze.
It's an awful thing to say to anyone.
Indeed it is.
So I'm to blame for Tina Mara then, am I?
If any blame attaches, to some extent I expect you are.
You coward.
No, but better to be one than a prig, and a perennial spinster however many marriages.
Seth, that's too much.
I'm afraid it's not enough. I'm afraid nothing is.
What did you call me?
You want me to repeat it?
Seth, now I understand a great deal that I didn't.
It's all past now, Margaret. Forgive me. You won't have to again. I understand a great deal more than I thought I did as well.
Prig? You mean you think I think I'm some sort of virgin goddess or something?
If your ego wishes to call it that, yes. Also, you've been talking like a jealous woman.
What is wrong with everyone all at once anyhow?
Miss Embry preferred dressing to my company, and what do you make of that, Uncle Willie?
We're going to drop all that now. From now on, you're yourself again, and so am I. I shall inform them that we know what their tender mission is, and at the first opportunity.
It's a pity. It was jolly good fun. Let's have a drink.
Let's do that. Tracy?
Thanks, no.
I forgot, you never.
Never. The girl's demented.
Wait, prigs don't.
What's that?
Nor spinsters.
We don't get you.
Nor goddesses, virgin or otherwise.
Hello. You were quick.
Miss Embry, you are a dream of loveliness. Champagne?
Oh, I never have enough.
You will tonight.
Mr. Connor. Excuse me.
That is to say, Mr. Lord, Miss Embry and I have something on our minds.
That's splendid, just where it belongs.
Well, it's rather hard to explain. It's about the reason we're here and so forth.
I think I have something to explain as well.
But did you ever hear of a man named Sidney Kidd?
What is it, Emma?
They've just phoned a telegram, madam.
Read it, Elsie. I haven't my glasses.
Hey, wait a minute.
Read it, Elsie.
Most frightfully sorry, will not be able to get down for the wedding as am confined to my bed with everything wrong. Love, Father. Is there any answer, madam?
No, Elsie, none in this world.
She's got everything a little mixed up, right?
A common mistake.
Now, do you understand, Mr. Connor?
I think we do.
So, where do we go from here?
To Aunt Geneva's. Come on, everybody.
My first party, and about time.
Who'll come with me in my little car?
Oh, Seth and Dinah and I. Sandy, will you take Miss Embry and Mr. Connor?
The evening is brilliant with possibilities.
Full of is better, dear.
What is it?
Nothing. You know, I felt exactly as if I'd been pinched.
Don't think you weren't.
Aren't you coming, Tracy?
I'll follow along with George.
What's the matter with you?
You tell me, will you?
Damn if I know. I'd like to, though.
Well, if you do find out,
I'll tell you sure.
remember, Mike, with rich and mighty.
Always a little patience. Yes, I will.
Thank you. You do that. Please do.
She's got a head of hair, just like two. My gals are corkers, she's a New Yorker. She buys me everything to keep me in style. My gals.
Tracy, yes, I think it is a great idea. It is. It's a great idea. But the question is, will we get away with it?
Oh, we've got to. You must, Sandy. You absolutely must.
Oh, me. It's your idea, not mine.
What does that have to do with it?
Oh, you get the ideas and I do all the work.
Sandy.
Okay.
Now, what you don't already know about the great Sydney Kid, you can fill in for Mike's ravings tonight.
I used to have that dime lingo down pretty pat.
It's a chance to write a beauty. You know it is.
And then I swap it with Kid for Connor's piece on us, and where am I?
You have the satisfaction of knowing you saved the whole lot of us single-handed.
And if he won't swap?
I'm not worried about that.
Well, I suppose there's a fair chance the Post would go for it.
Of course they will. You can't lose. Now, how long will it take you?
3,000 words? All night, what's left of it. Holy cats, you get to
Now,
bed.
you've got a typewriter, haven't you?
My old Chrona's upstairs, I think.
Make it slow.
Oh, you bet.
Oh, I can't stand it. You're not going to fall asleep, are you?
I've drunk nothing but black coffee since Connor began his lecture.
Sydney Kid, his habits, his habitat, and how to hunt him.
Oh, poor Connor. It must have been bottled up in him for years. I have enough now for 3 articles. Profile, full face.
And rear elevation. Now, Mike and Liz, they mustn't suspect
Oh,
Sandy.
no. Oh, mine.
Well, it seems to me they've stepped in their own chewing gum. Now, I suppose Sydney Kid has one of those private numbers the rich and mighty hide behind in New York.
I'll dig it out of Liz. I'll give him a buzz.
What will you say?
I'll be brief, bluff, belligerent. Hey, lay off that.
Why?
You're already in wine, sis.
Me, you lie. Besides, it never affects me.
Because you never take it.
Even if I did, it wouldn't.
Don't say that. It's unlucky.
Sandy, I've just got a good head.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
You fool.
George will spank.
Oh, I could spank George for the way he behaved tonight.
You had a right to be sore. You and Connor were gone for 2 hours at least.
You were along.
All the same, tongues were wagging like tails. George said.
George said he wanted to be home sharp at 12.
Yeah,
How could we?
they need a lot of sleep, those outdoorsy fellows.
They must. Well, then at 1, Father and Mother and Dinah, and at 2 and 3, and every hour on the hour. We felt like wolves in the car on the way home.
I hope you explain.
I should say not. He should have understood. He was extremely rude. You'd have thought I was out with Dexter or something. You know, I half expected Dexter to show up. It makes me sad, that look behind his eyes, Sandy.
Don't be sad, Trey.
I was sort of mean to George, wasn't I? I mean, I didn't mean to be.
You're in an odd little mood, fella. What's a laugh? What's a miss?
It's just that a lot of things I thought were really important aren't, and the other way around, and oh, what the hell.
I don't think I'd spend much more time with Connor if I were you tonight.
Why not?
Writers with wine sauce intoxicate little girls.
They sort of do, don't they? I like him, Sandy. He's so violent.
He's fallen, Trey. I can hear him bump.
Oh, mind your beeswax nose, you Parker.
Get thee to bed before you have to be carried.
No. I feel simply delicious. Is my bedroom telephone ringing?
Now you're hearing things.
It could only be George. I was sort of swinish to him, wasn't I? Maybe I'd... No, that's for you. You stop leaning on your shovel. Get these to work.
All right.
Listen, now I'm really underway. Miss not an inflection.
Is this Connor the poet or Connor the conspirator?
Both. No lightweight as balding battle-browed Sydney kid. No mean displacement his. For windy bias, bicarbonate. That's funny stuff. I'm used to whiskey. Whiskey's a clap on the back. Champagne and twining arms.
Is that poetry?
The dime will tell.
None but writer Wolfgang Goethe has known all about all. Gigantic were Goethe's outputs. Bigger already as kids. Sample from his own pen. Pittsburgh is a gentle city.
Sydney is a gentle man.
Potent, able, beady-eyed scion of great wealth in Quakertown. Why don't you do a piece on our great and good friend?
On Kid?
On none other.
Nimble Scrivener. It's an idea.
Well, it's a brilliant one. I wish I'd thought of it. But would it not be a low, dirty deed?
He'd print a scandal about his best friend. He said he would.
Who's his best friend?
Probably Santa Claus. This is mist before my eyes.
I have this great idea. Let's all take a quick swim to brighten us up. Go get Liz, Sandy.
Not me. It's too cold this early.
It's the perfect time of day. Dexter and I always swam after parties.
I haven't even got a bathing suit.
But we won't need any. It's just ourselves. Well, go get Liz, Sandy.
Well, if she's not in bed, or even if she is.
That's a funny thing you just did.
Me?
Yes, you made me sort of self-conscious.
How? About what?
Oh, never mind. Hello, you.
Hello.
You look fine.
I feel fine.
So, did you enjoy my party tonight?
Sure. The prettiest sight in this fine, pretty world is the privileged class enjoying its privileges.
Also somewhat of a snob.
How do you mean?
I'm wondering.
Consider, gentle reader, they toil not, neither do they spin.
Oh, yes, they do. They spin in circles.
Nicely put. Awash with champagne was Mrs. Willie Q. Tracy's stately pleasure dome on a hilltop in smart Radnor, PA, on a Saturday night late in June, on the eve of her great niece's... Tracy, you can't marry that guy.
George? I'm going to. Why not?
I'd have thought I'd be up for it, but for some reason you just don't seem to match up.
Oh, well, then the fault's with me.
All the same, you can't do it.
No? Come around about noon tomorrow. I mean, today.
Tracy,
Yes?
how do you mean I'm a snob?
You're the worst kind, an intellectual snob. You've made up your mind awfully young, it seems to me.
I'm nothing of the sort. 30's about time to make up your mind.
The time to make up your mind about people is never. And yes, you are a complete one.
Well, I am I?
Yes, you am, are you? Your damned intolerance infuriates me. You know, you'd think of all people a writer would need tolerance. But the truth is, you'll never be a first-class writer or a first-class human being until you learn to have some small regard for... Flowers, pretty professor? Is it not a handsome day that begins?
Hey, lay off that professor.
Yes, professor?
You've got all the arrogance of your class, all right, haven't you?
These suds, what have classes to do with anything?
Quite a lot.
What? What does it matter except for the people in them? George from the so-called lower class and Dexter from the upper? Well,
Well,
there's a lot to be said for Dexter, and don't you forget.
I'll try not to.
Mac, the night watchman, is prince among men, and Joey the stable boy is a rat. Uncle Hugh is a saint, and Uncle Willie's a pincher.
So what?
So there aren't any rules about people, that's all. You're teaching me things, Professor. This is new to me. I'm beholden to you.
Tracy,
What do you want?
You're wonderful. There's magnificence in you, I'm telling you.
I'm getting self-conscious again, Mike. Let's
What?
go up, I guess. It's getting late.
Magnificence that comes out of your eyes, in your voice, the way you stand there and the way you walk. You're lit from within, Tracy. There are fires banked down in you. Hearth fires and holocausts.
I don't seem to be made of bronze to you.
You're made of flesh and blood. That's the blank, unholy surprise of it. You're the golden girl, Tracy, full of love and warmth and delight. What the hell's this? You've got tears in your eyes.
Shut up, Mike. Oh, keep talking, keep talking.
I've stopped.
Why, is your mind taking hold again, dear Professor?
You think so?
Yes, Professor.
A good thing, don't you agree?
No, Professor.
Lay off that professor.
Yes, Professor.
That's all I really am to you, is it?
Of course, Professor.
Are you sure?
Well, yes, yes. Oh, my.
Tracy, dear Tracy.
Oh, Mr. Connor, dear Mr. Connor.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, no, don't. All of a sudden, I've got the shakes.
I have too.
What is it?
It must be something like love.
Oh, it can't be. It mustn't.
Why would it be inconvenient?
Terribly. It's not. I know it's not. Oh, Mike, I'm a bad girl.
Not you.
We're out of our minds.
Right into our hearts.
Oh, that ought to have music.
It has, hasn't it?
Oh, someone's coming.
Oh, hell.
Oh, it's not far to the pool. It's just over the lawn and through the birch grove.
Good, let's go.
Oh, it's as if my insteps are falling away. Are my feet made of clay or something?
Quick, here they are.
Look, Tracy.
Can I have them back, please?
Did Kid know you took these shots of him?
Some of them.
Sit down. Have a drink.
I will not. Drink would be tautological. Redundant. Mistake. Is that juice?
It's orange juice.
Orange juice I'll have.
Let me just keep those 3 shots.
What for?
A low purpose.
Sufficiently low?
Nefarious.
You won't reproduce them?
No.
Or cause them to be reproduced?
Honest.
In any shape, way, or manner. Without permission, of course.
So help me, Sydney Kid.
Amen.
What's his private number?
His private number or his sacred private number?
The one by the bed in the bathtub.
I won't tell you. Regent 41416. And what of Kittredge? Is he made of pure gold?
We must never doubt that, Missy. Regent 41416, New York, Wayne 2223. And Mr. Connor, what of him?
Percentage of base metal. Alloy.
So?
Which imparts a certain shape and firmness.
Mr. Kidd, this is Alexander Lord. No, I'm in Philadelphia.
Oh, I know nothing about this.
No, sorry, I know it's early here too. Look, Mr. Kidd, I think you better get over here as fast as you can. What? I'm sorry to tell you this, sir, but Connor's had an accident. Yes, he's had a pretty bad fall. No, it's his heart we're worried about now. Yes, I'm afraid so. Keeps talking about you, calling you names. I mean, calling your name. How's that? No, the 11 o'clock's time enough. We don't expect him to regain consciousness much before then.
Oh, I know his only hope is to be fired.
Sorry. Miss Embry? No, she's sleeping. The shop. 1220 North Street, Philadelphia. No, I'll have you met. All right, then I'll see you within the hour. Bye-bye. He wants no publicity.
Who's that?
That was God.
Do I hear something?
Smack the night watchman. Liz, you're in love with Connor, aren't you?
People ask the oddest questions.
Why don't you marry him?
I can't hear you.
I said, why don't you? Hello, here's an early one.
Hello. I saw quite a full day ahead and I got myself up. Good party?
Fine.
Good.
And sufficient. Hell or high water, I'm going to bed.
Liz, why don't you? You know, what I asked?
He has a lot to learn, and I don't want to get in his way yet. A while. Okay?
Okay. Risky, though. Suppose another girl comes along in the meantime?
I don't know. I suppose I just scratch out her eyes. That is, unless she's getting married to someone the next day.
You're a good number, Liz.
No, I just photographed well.
Complications?
There might be.
Oh, and where are they?
Who?
The complications.
They went upstairs. At least I hope and pray they did.
Well, well.
Make yourself comfortable, Dex. I've got a little blackmailing to do.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm a friend of the family's. Just dropped in for a chat.
Don't try to be funny. I asked you a question.
Well, I might ask you the same one.
Well, I telephoned Tracy and her phone didn't answer.
I didn't telephone. I just came right over.
Well, I was worried, so I thought that I'd drop by and find out what was...
Yes, I was worried too.
About what?
What do you think of, this Connor?
What about him?
Oh, I don't know. I just wanted...
Listen, if you're trying to insinuate something...
My dear fellow, I wouldn't dream of it. I was only trying...
Who's that I hear?
Look, Kittredge, I advise you to go to bed.
Oh, you do you?
Yes, I strongly urge you to do so at once.
Well, I'm staying right here.
You're making a mistake. I somehow don't think you'll understand.
You'd better leave that... I hear someone walking.
It must be Mac, the night watchman. It's all right, Mac, just us. Look, come along. I'll walk with you.
Well, I'm staying right here, and so are you.
You're making a mistake.
Take me upstairs, will you?
Yes, dear.
What the hell?
Easy, old boy. She's not hurt.
No, she's not hurt.
Not wounded, sire, but dead.
She hasn't any clothes on.
Not a stitch. It's delicious.
It seems the minute she hit the water...
A likely story, Connor.
What did you say?
I said a likely story.
Hey, if you think that I...
Listen, you'll come down again directly?
Yes, if you want.
Yes, I want.
Hello, Dexter. Hello, George. Hello, Mike.
It's the second door on the right, and mind you, don't wake Dinah. Look out for Dinah. How the mighty are fallen. Well, but if I know Tracy, and I know her very well, she'll remember very little of this in the morning. For the second time in her life, she may draw quite a tidy blank. Of course, she may worry, though.
Good God.
So you believe it, then?
Believe what?
Well, let's just say the implications of what you've seen.
What else is there to believe?
I don't know. I suppose that's entirely up to you.
Well, I've got eyes and I've got imagination, haven't I?
I don't know. Have you?
So you pretend not to believe it?
Yes, I pretend not to.
Then you don't know women?
Oh, possibly.
You are a blind fool.
Quite possibly.
God.
Listen, you won't be too hard on her, will you?
I'll make up my own mind what I'll be.
But we're all only human, you know.
You, all of you and your damn sophisticated ideas.
Oh, isn't it hell?
Well, why, you low down...
Listen, Connor, the lady is my wife.
You... What right have you?
A husband's till tomorrow, Kittredge.
I'll make up my own mind, all right.
You okay, old man?
Listen, if you think that...
Yes, I know. I'm sorry, but I just thought I'd better hit you before he did. Hello, Mac.
Oh, Dexter, anything wrong?
Oh, nothing here. Just as quiet as a church.
Who is it? Oh, hell. I thought it was Kittredge.
Well, we can't have everything, Mac.
I'm trying to think, Mr. Tracy.
Well?
She woke rather late, had a tray sent to her room. I believe May and Alice are dressing her now.
It's not the bride I'm asking about, it's her sister.
Oh, I haven't seen Miss Dinah since breakfast. She came down quite early.
Is there anything wrong with her?
She did seem a trifle silent. She ate only one egg, didn't quite finish her cereal. However, the pancakes and bacon went pretty much as usual.
She telephoned me like a mad woman. Before I was even out of my tub, I expected to find at least 2 bodies, hacked beyond recognition. The house stiff with police and... Good God, child, don't do that. I drank champagne last night.
Hello, Uncle Billy.
So, Why must I hurry on over here without your Aunt Geneva? Why must I waste not 1 minute? What's up here? What's the lack? What's the miss? Well, don't just stand there with your big eyes like a stuffed owl.
Will there be anything else, sir?
No, thank you, Elsie.
Come over here and speak very low.
What the Sam Hill for? What's the miss? What's the foot?
I know it's true, but you, Uncle Willie.
People are always turning to me. I wish they'd stop.
It's desperate. It's about Tracy.
Tracy? What about Tracy? Tracy this and Tracy that, upstairs and downstairs and in my lady's chamber.
How did you know?
Know what?
Well, it seems to me you know just about everything.
I have a fund of information accumulated over the years. You ask me, however, about ballistics or falconry, and you shall get nowhere.
I meant more about people and sin.
I know only that they are inseparable. And I also know that the one consolation for being old is the realization that you will never die young. Now get to the point, child. What do you want of me?
Advice.
On what subject or subjects?
Well, look it. You don't like George, do you?
Kittredge? I deplore him.
And you'd like it if Tracy didn't go ahead and have married him after all. Or would you?
What school do you go to?
I don't yet. I'm going someplace next fall.
And high time. Like it. I would love it. I would raise my voice in song.
Well, I think I know a way on how to stop her fun, but I need advice on how.
Proceed, child. Proceed cautiously.
Well, suppose she all of a sudden develops an illicit passion for someone.
Can you arrange it?
Doesn't need to be. She is already.
Ah, since when?
Last night, and well into the morning.
You surprise me, Dinah.
Just imagine what I was, and just imagine what George would be.
And just what would be the object of this illicit passion?
Let him be nameless. Only tell me. Should I tell George? It's getting late.
Well, maybe you want to marry her anyway.
But she can't. If she marries anyone, it's got to be Mr. Connor.
Connor? Why Connor?
She's got to, that's all.
Why, Dinah? What makes you think she should?
Dexter.
Well, isn't that a pretty big order to swing at this late today?
I didn't say anything. What did I say?
Now, maybe you should talk it over with her. But perhaps you already have.
Of course not. I
It
haven't.
seems the little cherub has heard or seen something.
Well, that's Dexter's own Dinah.
I must say, you show a certain amount of cheek walking in here this morning of all mornings.
Well, Tracy just did a very sweet thing. She telephoned me and asked me what to do for a feeling of fright accompanied by a headache.
Well, I should think of bad luck for a first husband to see the bride before the wedding.
Yes, that's what I figured. Now, what's all this about Connor, Dinah? Did the party give you bad dreams?
It wasn't a dream.
Well, I wouldn't be too sure now. Once you've gone to bed, it's pretty hard to tell, isn't it?
Is it?
Well, you bet your hat it is. It's practically impossible.
Well, I thought Sandy's typewriter woke me up.
Good morning, everyone. Is everyone fine? Fine. Isn't it a fine morning? I am hearty.
Yes, and how are you otherwise?
I don't know what's wrong with me. I must have had too much sun yesterday.
Oh, it's awfully easy to get too much.
I don't know what's the matter with me. My eyes don't seem to open properly. Please go home, Dex.
Oh, not until we get those eyes open.
Good morning, Uncle Willie.
That remains to be seen.
Are you here early?
Weddings get me out like nothing else.
It's nearly 12:30.
But it can't be.
Maybe it can't, but it is.
Where's Mother?
Do you want her?
No, I was just wondering.
She's talking with Dr. Parsons.
Dr. Parsons already?
And Miss Emily has called her camera to the horses. And Sandy's in his room. And Mr. Connor, he hasn't come down yet.
And it's Saturday.
Thanks, loads. It's nice to have things accounted for. Only I wonder what this might be.
Well, it looks terribly like a wristwatch.
But whose? I found it in my room this morning. I nearly stepped on it.
Getting out of bed?
Yes, why?
I just wondered.
Oh, there's another mystery, Uncle Willie.
Mysteries irritate me.
I was robbed at your house last night.
You don't say.
My bracelet and my engagement ring are missing.
Probably someone's house guest from New York.
Oh, here you are.
But you weren't at the party last night, were you?
Wasn't I?
Were you?
Well, don't tell me you don't remember.
Oh, but of course I do. Sort of.
There were just such a lot of people, that's all.
Well, you know you should have taken a quick swim to shake them off. You know, there's nothing like a swim after a late night.
A swim?
There we go. Now your eyes are open.
That was just the beginning, and was no dream.
Sir, don't you think that at this point, if you and I were to go off to the pantry, you know, speaking of eye-openers?
That's the first sane remark I've heard all morning. I know a formula that's said to knock the pennies off from the eyelids of dead Irishmen.
Oh, and Dinah, if the conversation should drag, you might tell Tracy your dream.
What did he say? Oh, nothing. Tracy, I should hate to see you get married and go away.
I'll miss you, darling. I'll miss you all.
We'll miss you too. It isn't like when you married Dexter, just moved down the road a ways.
It's only Wilkes-Barre. I'll come back often.
You know, I did have the funniest dream about you last night.
Did you?
Yes, it was terribly interesting and sort of scary.
Dinah, do you like my dress?
Yes, ever so much.
Feels awfully heavy. As for you, you want to get dressed right away.
You know me, I don't take a minute.
Nonetheless, on your way.
Well, turn around, Tracy. Oh, yes, it looks lovely. Oh, I'm so glad we decided against the blue one. That scratching noise is the orchestra tuning. You know, I can't quite grasp all of this. I feel so impersonal about it all. Dinah, get dressed.
It certainly is bright out this morning, isn't it?
The sun was up awfully early.
Was it?
And let's not dream that too. It's supposed to be the longest day of the year or something, isn't it?
I wouldn't doubt it for a minute.
It was all certainly pretty rooty-tooty, all right.
What was?
My dream.
Dinah, you'll learn sooner or later that nobody's the slightest bit interested in anyone else's dreams.
I thought I went over to my window and looked out across the lawn. And guess what I thought I saw coming out of the woods?
I haven't the faintest idea. A skunk?
Well, sort of. It was Mr. Connor.
Mr. Connor?
Yes, with both his arms full of something. And guess what it turned out to be?
What?
You and some clothes. Wasn't it funny? It was sort of like you were coming from the pool.
Pool? Can't believe I'm standing here on my own two hands going crazy. What next?
And then heard something out in the hall, so I went over to my door and peeked out. And there he still was coming along with you, puffing like a steam engine. His wind can't be very good.
And then what happened?
And then you were sort of crooning.
I never crooned in my life.
I guess it sort of sounded like you were. And then he, guess what?
I couldn't possibly.
And then he just flew into your room with you, and that scared me, so I just flew back to bed, or I thought I did, and I pulled the covers over my head and lay there shaking and thinking, if that's the way it is, why I think she married him instead of old George. Then I fast asleep because the next thing I knew, it was 8 o'clock and the typewriter was still going.
Oh, Santa's typewriter.
So in a minute, I went over to your door and peeked in just to make sure you were all right. And guess what?
What?
You were. He was gone by then.
Gone? Oh, of course he was gone. He was never there.
I know, Tracy.
Well, I should hope you do.
I'm certainly glad I do now, because if I didn't, and in a little while I heard Dr. Parsons saying, if anyone knows any just cause or reason why these two should not be united, holy matrimony, I wouldn't know just what to do. And it was all only a dream.
Naturally.
Dexter said so straight off.
Dexter?
Yes.
You told Dexter all of this?
Not a word, not a single word.
But you know, you little fiend, you told
Tracy,
Dexter.
the next time you marry, choose a different man of God, will you? This one wears me out. Good heavens, Dinah, get into your clothes. You look like a tramp.
Father,
Yes, child.
I'm glad you came back. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
I'm terribly sorry I'm a disappointment to you.
I never said that, daughter, and I never will. Where is your mother? Where's George?
Good morning.
Hello.
Did you have a nice rest?
Yes. How did you sleep?
Oh, wonderful.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Don't worry, I'm going.
Why should you?
I imagine you must have things you wish to discuss.
Like what?
Only remember, it's getting late. And some of them are in already. I'll be ready when you are.
She's always trying to make situations. How's your work coming? Are you doing us up brown?
I've lost my angle.
How do you mean?
I just got so damn tolerant all at once, I doubt if I'll be able to write another line.
Mike, you are a fella.
Or the mug of this world, I don't know.
Well, when you're at work that you ought to be doing, you'll soon see that... What's the matter with your chin?
Why? Does it show?
A bit. What happened?
I guess I just stuck it up too far.
Into a door in the dark?
Yes, that's it. Are you all right, Tracy?
Well, of course I am. Why shouldn't I be?
That was a flock of wine we put away.
Never felt better in my life.
Oh, that's fine. That's just Daisy.
We're just both lucky to have such good heads, that's all.
Yes, I guess.
Must be awful for people who, get up and start fights and make scenes and misbehave in general.
It certainly must.
Must be some sort of hidden weakness coming out.
A weakness? I'm not so sure of that.
Anyhow, I simply had a wonderful time at the party last night. I hope you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the last part of it.
Why the last part in particular?
Are you asking me, Tracy?
Oh, you mean the swim. We did swim and so forth.
We swam and so forth.
Mike.
You darling, darling girl.
Mike!
What can I say to you? Tell me, darling.
Nothing at all, and especially not darling.
Never in this world will I ever forget you.
Nothing, I said.
You're going to go through with it then?
Go through with what?
The wedding?
Of course, why shouldn't I?
Well, you see, I've made a funny discovery that in spite of the fact someone's up from the bottom, he may be quite a heel, and even though someone's born to the purple, he may be quite a guy. Hell, I'm only saying what you said last night.
You seemed to have said quite a bit last night.
All right, no dice. But also understand, no regrets about last night.
Why should I have?
That's it. That's the stuff. You're wonderful. You're aces, Tracy.
No, you don't understand. I'm asking you. Tell me straight out why I should have any regret. Oh, no, don't. Just tell me what time is it?
What's happened to my wristwatch?
Why is it broken?
It's gone. I seem to have lost it somewhere.
I can't tell you how sorry I am to hear that.
That's all right. I just assume not know the time anyhow.
There on the table.
What is it? Oh, for the love. Who found it? I'll give a reward or something.
I don't think any reward will be expected.
Now then, this is the medicine indicated in cases of... Oh, hello, Connor. How are you?
About as you'd expect. Is that for me?
For Tracy. Why would you like one?
It's so my grandmother for a drink. And you know how I love my grandmother.
Uncle Willie is around in the pantry doing weird and wonderful things. Just say I said one of the same.
Is it all right if I say two?
Well, that's between you and your grandmother. Doctor's orders, Trey.
What is it?
Oh, just the juice of a few flowers.
Oh, peppermint.
And one other simple ingredient. It's called a stinger. It helps to remove the sting.
Dex, don't say that.
Why not, Trey?
Nothing can. Nothing ever will. Dex, I've done the most awful thing to you.
To me? I doubt that, Red. I honestly doubt that.
You don't know. You don't know.
Well, maybe I shouldn't.
Oh, you've got to. You must. I don't know what I'd do if you didn't. Oh, Dex, what am I going to do?
But why to me, darling? I don't understand. Where do I come into this anymore? Aren't you confusing me with someone else? A fellow named Kittredge or something?
George.
Yes, that's it. George Kittredge. Splendid chap. Very high
Oh, you've got to tell him.
Tell him what?
I've got to tell him.
Oh, but if he's got any sense at all, he'll have realized by now what a fool he made of himself last night
When he what? George, it's Tracy. I know it's bad luck and I'll see the bride before the wedding, but I've simply got to talk to you. What note? I didn't get a note. Yes, come right over. Come on the run. He sent a note over at 10 o'clock this morning.
I told you he'd eventually come to his senses.
Is he here too?
Sure.
My God, why didn't you sell tickets or something?
Finish your drink, Trey.
Will it help?
Well, there's always the hope.
You rang, miss?
Yes, did Mr. Kittredge send a note over this morning?
I believe it was put on the hall table upstairs. Mrs. Lawrence said not to disturb you.
May I have it, please?
Very well, miss.
Oh, Dex, I'm wicked. I'm such an unholy mess of a girl. Never in all my life, if I live to be 100, will I forget how you tried to stand me on my feet again this morning.
You are in grand shape. Tell me, what did you think of my wedding gift? I like my presents to be acknowledged at least.
It was beautiful and sweet.
Yes. She was quite a boat, the true love. Did you ever notice that she had the same initials as yours?
No, I never did.
Nor did I until I last saw her. It's funny, we both missed it. My, she was yar.
She was Yara, wasn't she? I wasn't, was I?
Wasn't what?
Yar.
Not very. You were good at the bright work, though. I'll never forget you on the deck every morning with your little can of polish.
I wouldn't let even you help.
Not even me.
I made her shine, though. Where is she now?
Oh, over at the boatyard at 700 Acre, getting gone over. I'm going to sell her to Ruth Watrous down at Oyster Bay.
You're going to sell the true love?
Why not?
For money?
Yes, he wired an offer yesterday.
To that fat old rum pot?
What the hell does it matter?
She's too clean. She's too yar.
Yes, I know. But she was only good for racing and really only comfortable for two people. And not damn so for them. So, naturally I thought, well, that is, unless of course you should want her.
Oh, no, I don't want her.
I'm going to design another for myself along a little more practical lines.
Are you?
Yes, I started the drawings a couple weeks ago.
What will you call her?
Oh, I thought the True Love 2. What do you think?
Dexter, if you call any boat that, I'll blow you and it right out of the water.
Yes, I know. It's not very imaginative,
Just
but...
try it, that's all. I'll tell you what you can call it if you like.
What?
In fond remembrance of me.
What?
The easy virtue.
No, Trey, I'll be damned if I'll have you thinking such things of yourself.
What would you like me to think?
I don't know, but I do know that virtue, so-called, is no matter of a single misstep or two.
You don't think so?
I know so. It's something inherent, something regardless of anything.
Fun it is.
You're wrong. The occasional misdeeds, they're often as good for a person as the more persistent virtues. Now, maybe that's your problem, Tracy. Maybe you haven't committed enough. Maybe this is your coming of age.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
Well, that sounds very hopeful. That sounds just fine, Trey.
They are practically all in, miss, and quite a number standing in the back. All our best wishes, miss.
Thanks, Emma.
And ours too, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank everybody.
Trey, he's here. He's arrived.
Who has?
Kid, Sidney Kidd.
What is he doing here?
May I scream?
Hey, what the?
Oh, now I remember.
Well, I should hope you would. I haven't been to bed at all. I gave him the profile. He's reading it now. I couldn't stand suspense, so I had to get out of here.
Profile, did you say? What profile?
The kid himself, complete with photographs. Would you like to see a copy?
Holy St. Rose of South Bend.
Offered in exchange for yours on us. I told him what a big help you'd both been to me.
I don't think you'll find it so hard to resign now, Mike. Me either.
That's all right with me.
We also be worn tighter this winter.
I'll see how he's bearing up now. Oh, good morning, Dr. Parsons. How's everything?
Where's your sister? Tracy? Tracy!
Oh, yes.
Just a moment, Dr. Parsons. Mr. Kittredge will be along in a minute. Well, it looks like it's the deadline, Trey.
So is this. Listen. My dear Tracy, your conduct last night was so shocking to my ideals of womanhood that my attitude toward you and the prospects of a happy and useful life together has changed materially. To me, you're a totally unexpected breach of common decency, not to mention the moral aspect.
Tracy!
Hello, George.
Tracy, all these people.
It's just a letter from a friend. They're my friends, too. Not to mention the moral aspect certainly entitles me to a full explanation before going through with our proposed marriage. In the light of day, I'm sure that you will agree with me. Otherwise, with profound regrets and all best wishes, yours very sincerely. Yes, George, I quite agree with you. In the light of day or dark of night, sickness and health, for rich or for poorer. And thank you so very much for your kind wishes at this time.
That's all you've got to say.
That's all there is to say, George. I wish for your sake as well as mine I had a better explanation, but I've none. So good riddance to me, George.
It isn't easy, you know.
I don't see why.
Will you say something?
Wait a minute.
You grant I had a right to be angry and very angry.
You certainly had. You certainly have.
Will you say something?
Wait.
What for?
Enough rope.
On the very eve of your wedding, an affair with another man.
George, I told you I agreed with you. And good riddance to me.
That's for me to decide.
And I wish you would. A little sooner.
Look, Kittredge.
George, if I could just make you understand that somehow, in spite of
That's a little difficult to understand.
Yes, I can see that it would be.
Not necessarily.
You keep out of it.
You forget, I am out of it.
Kittredge, it just might interest you to know that the so-called affair consisted of exactly 2 kisses and 1 rather late swim.
Mike, please, no need for
All of
more.
which I thoroughly enjoyed, and the memory of which I wouldn't part with for anything.
It's no use. Mike.
After which, I accompanied her to her room, deposited her in her bed, and returned to the 2 of you on the porch, as you will doubtless recall.
Oh, doubtless, without a doubt.
You mean to say that's all there was to it?
I do.
Why? Was I so damned unattractive, so distant, so forbidding?
This is Vine Top 2.
You were extremely attractive, and as for distant and forbidding, on the contrary, but you were also somewhat the worse, or the better for wine, and, well, there are rules about that sort of thing. Damn it.
Thank you, Mike. I think men are wonderful. They're little dears.
Well, that's a relief. I'll admit that's a relief. Still, I don't...
What's the difference, George? If my beautiful, wonderful, marvelous virtue is still intact, it's no
I don't think that this is appropriate.
It's no thanks to me. It's all courtesy of the gentleman from South Bend.
Local papers, please copy.
I failed to see the humor in the situation, Miss Embry.
Oh, I can appreciate that. I did at first, but when
Liz.
Oh, it's okay, Tracy. Sometimes we all go a little haywire. But when we don't, maybe we should.
Yes, you had too much to drink.
That seems to be the general consensus of opinion.
Will you promise me never to touch the stuff again?
No, George, I don't believe I will.
But a man expects his
To
wife...
behave herself. Naturally.
To behave herself naturally. Sorry.
But if it hadn't been for the drink last night, all this might not have happened.
But apparently nothing did, George. What made you think it had?
Well, it didn't take much imagination, I can tell you that.
Not much, but of a certain kind.
Well, it seems you didn't think any too well of yourself.
Well, that's the strange thing, George. I think that you would think better of me than I did.
I am not going to quibble, Tracy. All the evidence was there.
And I was guilty until proven innocent.
Well?
Downright un-American, if you ask me.
No one is asking you.
Listen, he's read it. Holy cats, guess what?
What?
He loves it. He says it's brilliant. He wants it for destiny. I give up.
Who wants what?
Sydney Kidd. Sydney Kidd.
Sydney Kidd is here himself?
Big as life and twice as handsome. Boy, this wedding is now a national affair.
Well, it's extremely kind and thoughtful of him. Come on, Tracy, it must be late. Let's let bygones be bygones. What do you say?
Yes, George. And goodbye.
But I don't understand.
Please, George, goodbye.
But Tracy, what on
I
earth?
imagine she means that your explanation's quite inadequate.
Look here, Tracy.
George, you're 100 times too good for me.
I never said that I
I'd
was...
make you most unhappy, or I'd certainly try to.
Well, if that's the way you want it.
That's the way it is.
All right. Possibly it's just as well.
Yes, I thought you'd eventually think so.
You know, I've got a feeling that you had a lot more to do with this than anyone.
Oh, a novel and interesting idea, I'm sure.
You and your whole rotten class.
Oh, class, my...
Listen! You're all on your way out. The lot of you. And don't think you aren't. Yes. And good riddance.
There goes George.
Oh, my sainted aunt. What in all its holy am I going to do? Oh, that welter of faces.
You forgot your hat, Miss Tracy.
Oh, dear God, help Tracy.
Tracy,
Yes, Mike.
forget about the license.
License?
I've got an old one here that we never used. Marilyn being quicker and all.
Forget about it. Old Parsons, he's never seen Kittredge. Neither have most of the others. I got you into this, Tracy. I'll catch you out. Will you marry me?
No. Thanks, Mike, but no.
Why not? I've never had someone marry me before in my life. I've avoided it. You've got me all confused.
But because I don't think Liz would like it, and I'm not really sure about you, and I'm definitely unsure about myself. But thank you, Mike. I'm beholden. I'm most beholden.
They're all in there. They're waiting.
Don't get too conventional on me all at once. I expect you to sustain the mood.
It'll be all right, Tracy. You've been got out of jams before.
Been got out of them, did you say?
Yes, that's what I said. You always are.
Tracy, we met George in the hall, and it's all right, dear. Your father will make a simple announcement.
Is there anything special you want me to say?
No, I'll say it, whatever it is. I won't be got out of anything anymore, thank you.
What's the matter? What's the mess?
This just can't be happening again.
Hello. Good morning, and I'm sorry to have kept you waiting so long. It's just that there's been a hitch in the proceedings, and I made a fool of myself, which isn't unusual, and my fiance...
Oh, Seth.
Wait, my dear.
My fiance that is, he thinks we better call it a day, and I'd rather agree with him. And, Dexter, what the hell next?
2 years ago, you were all invited to a wedding in this house.
2 years ago, you were all invited to a wedding in this house.
Do you mind?
And I did you out of it by eloping to Maryland.
Here, put this in your vest pocket. Well, just hold it in your hand. Which was very bad manners.
Which was very bad manners.
But I hope to make it up to you all now by going through with it as originally planned.
But I hope to make it up to you all now by going through with it. By going through with it as originally and most...
I'd like you to be my best man because I think you're one hell of a guy.
I'd be honored, CK.
Ladies, follow me. No rushing, please.
So if you'll all just keep your seats a minute.
So if you all just keep your seats a minute.
That's all.
That's all. Dexter, are you sure?
Not in the slightest. But I'm willing to risk it if you are.
You bet. You just didn't do it just to soften the blow?
No, Trey.
You want to save my face?
Well, it is a pretty little face.
I'll be yar now. I promise I'll be yar.
You be whatever you like. You're my redhead. All set?
All set.
See you soon, Trey.
See you soon, Dex. How on earth did this ever happen?
Don't inquire. Go ahead, Dinah. Tell Mr. Denton to start the music now.
I did it!
Daughter,
I love you, Father.
and I love you, daughter.
How do I look?
Like my very lovely daughter.